Welcome to this week's episode of Money Talk. And guess what? You can change your financial situation. Yes, you, the random stranger on the internet listening to this podcast. You can take wherever you are today and be in a better place financially. Whether that's living paycheck to paycheck currently, to being financially independent, or being financially independent and leaving a long-lasting legacy. There's always room to grow and an impact to make. In this episode, we are going to be talking about why people get stuck financially and how you can get started, and some motivation about getting started and what to do when there's setbacks in your plan. This is going to be a great episode heading into the new year, and I hope it really provides you some fuel to actually put a plan in place to make an actual change and make the change you've been wanting to make. So let's start planning for the New Year's resolution before the new year. You know, we don't talk about money enough. It is a topic that just gets ignored for some reason, even though it plays a role in everyone's day-to-day life. Well, this is the issue that brought Money Talk to reality. I know you're probably too busy and don't have the time to research and learn about all the things that go into personal finance, but that is where this podcast, Money Talk, comes into play. I'm your host, Skylar Fleming, and I'm here to do the research and learn all the extra stuff about personal finance for you. The goal is to simply get us talking about money. So let's get talking. Welcome to this week's episode of Money Talk. Like I said, we are going to be talking about how you can change your financial path, as this episode is titled. Well, first, let's get into why people are stuck. Why do people get stuck where they are? Why don't they think they can change their financial situation? Well, one of the first things that impacts this position that you find yourself in is the sacrifice that it takes to really change your financial situation. It's going to take quite a bit of hard work if you're in a really sticky situation, like living paycheck to paycheck and also not making enough to get by. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice to go out and get a second job, to really start budgeting and saving money. The next reason is debt. People might have way too much debt and then they don't have any income. They really get a paycheck and it all goes away immediately. That's one of the biggest reasons that people can be stuck financially. And now another one is spouses or significant others and being on different pages. You have to be on the same page when you're living with somebody or when you're married to somebody. And if you're on two separate pages, it can create a lot of fighting and a lot of arguments about, why did you spend money on this? I didn't think I thought we were saving money for this, blah, 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 and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. As you can see, if you're on different pages, it's very easy to think, I thought we were planning towards this. And then the other spouse goes out and spends a bunch of money and you're like, what's going on here? I thought we were doing something different. So you have to be on the same page or else you're going to get stuck financially because you'll just be continually going back and forth with your financial goals if you're not on the same page as a spouse. And a budget is a great big reason why people are stuck financially, because a budget can simply unlock a lot of vision over your financial situation and help you really see what in the world is going on with all your money. And when things like fast food, soda, gas, like those sort of things that creep into your budget, like car repair, monthly subscriptions, yearly bills, like car registration, those sort of things can really break your budget. And if you don't even have a budget, they can really destroy any progress you're making towards saving money. When all of a sudden you have to spend $200 on a car registration and you had money that you were trying to save up for Christmas. Can you see how that puts you in a real pickle? And that's another reason why people can be stuck, is not having a plan. If you don't have any sort of a plan in place, then you just keep going around and around and around and around with each paycheck. And the money just keeps coming in and going right back out, and you don't really understand why. So that's just a couple reasons why people tend to feel stuck. And one of those probably resonated with you. There's probably one of those things that you may need to do a little bit better at. So let's talk about that you can actually do it and how you get started. So you can do it. You can change your financial situation, believe it or not. Whether it's been years and years and years of doing the same old thing, working your same old job, living paycheck to paycheck, you can change your financial situation. Or if you're brand new to really starting to save money, if you're 18 or 19 years old and going out on your own for the first time, you can get yourself to a financial situation where you're well pleased and avoid going down a road where it's continual financial stress. So no matter where you are, you can change your financial situation. There's lots of motivation online. Dave Ramsey is a perfect source just to find the motivation that you might need to change your financial situation. Look up debt-free screams on YouTube. Those people get so fired up about being out of debt. And then they talk about things like being able to be more charitable. They talk about having way more money coming into their accounts than they ever realized because it's not automatically going out to bills the same day that it comes in. And Everyday Millionaires is another great source of motivation because those are people that Dave Ramsey has called into a show that they share how they became millionaires and what having over $1 million net worth really allows them to do. And also, I'm here to help. Like I've said, moneytalk.ffc@gmail.com is the email to reach me at best for this podcast. And I'm here to answer any questions you have, so please submit them there. And you can actually accomplish a New Year's resolution. Being able to change your financial situation is something you can absolutely do. There's a lot of goals and things that you can truly do if you set a plan in place. And I know that changing your financial situation is something that everybody can accomplish, and you don't have to be stuck going around and around living paycheck to paycheck for the rest of your life. So now let's talk about how do you actually get started. So how do you actually get started at changing your financial situation? Well, one of the first things is to identify the issue. So I've been talking a lot about living paycheck to paycheck. So let's run through that example with this. So you live paycheck to paycheck. What is the issue? Well, you have 8 credit card bills that all have minimum payments coming out automatically monthly, and those are all $50, and that adds up very quickly. If you have 8 credit card bills at $50, that's $200 that's immediately leaving your bank account. That could be one of your main issues that's causing you to live paycheck to paycheck. So now let's break down the problem. So you have 8 credit card bills. You're paying the monthly payment to make sure they don't go late. That's $50 equals $200 for all 8. So then let's break down the problem again. Why are these credit cards not being paid off? That's one of the problems that should be addressed, because you shouldn't be keeping a credit card balance, because if you look at the interest you're paying on your credit cards, it's going to be crazy high. So let's break down the problem again. How do you decrease that interest that it's charging you, which is just more and more money that you're giving the credit card companies? Well, you could consolidate them all into one credit card using a balance transfer. Find some promo of like 18 months at 0% interest and use that as a plan to break down your interest so you're not paying it all the time. And you can use that as a plan and a stepping stone to start speedily paying off your credit card bills. Now, think about, why do you want to fix this problem? Why do you want to stop having $200 leave your account automatically a month without ever seeing it? $200 is a good amount of money. Like, it may not be a ton if you're making an absolute bunch of money, but it can make the difference between doing something that you want to do versus living paycheck to paycheck. So why do you want to fix this problem? Well, I want to fix it so that I have more income. Well, why do you want more income? Well, I enjoy spending time with my family, and the winter is coming up, which means we're going to probably have to do some more things indoors, which generally costs money. Well, why? Just keep asking yourself why. Honestly, the why 5 times from a few episodes ago can really help you break down a true reason why you want to change your financial situation. Because if it's, well, I want to have more income, well, then I need to get out of credit card debt. Well, I want to get out of credit card debt so that I have more money to spend. Well, I want more money to spend because we need more money to go on indoor family activities. Well, I need more money to spend on indoor family activities because I really enjoy spending time with my family. So there you go. You want to change your financial situation so you have more time to spend with your family. And there's a host of other reasons and whys that you would want to change your financial situation, but the key is to put your plan in place. So you need to figure out all those reasons, break down the problem, break it down again, tell yourself why. Why do you want to do that? Why? And then put the plan in place. So the plan could be, okay, the first step is going to be research some credit cards that we can do a balance transfer to for cheap, for no fee. And then the next step of that is, well, let's not pay the minimum payment. And I don't mean don't pay the payment, I mean pay way more than the minimum payment. So take the entire $200 at the very minimum and then start scrapping together all the extra money you can find and pay down that credit card as fast as possible while you're in that 0% interest window or a very low interest window. And create an accountability contract. If you have a problem maintaining to these goals and plans, write it down and have everyone sign it. Get your kids involved if you have kids so that they're aware of what's going on, so that they're like, hey, this is our fun Christmas contract. And if we accomplish this goal with your guys' help to keep us accountable to this, we can do a lot more fun things this Christmas season than we would be able to. Then the kids are excited because they're ready to go do a lot of fun stuff for Christmas. So create accountability contracts and make it relatable to everybody so that we're all on the same page and helping each other work towards those goals. So next, let's go over some questions. We didn't get any submitted online, unfortunately, but I did find some common ones online around financial New Year's resolutions. So let's go over those next. Okay, so I found a couple common financial concerns and financial challenges online. So let's go over this first one. Monthly spending exceeds your income. Wow, this is a pretty common one. Most people can't come up with $1,000 for a simple emergency, or just come up with $1,000 in their savings accounts. Well, that issue is likely because you're spending more than you make. And the key to changing this financial situation has to be tracking your expenses. You need to figure out where your money's going. Where is it coming from? So you make $1,000 from your job in one paycheck. Where's that $1,000 going? You'll be shocked to figure out exactly where it's going. And you're going to be like, why am I spending so much money on blank, whatever it is? There's going to be a couple things like that stick out if you've never tracked your expenses before. The easiest way to rein in your spending is just to track it, because it's going to be a sobering, really like a list of things that you're staring at that you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I'm spending that much money on whatever it is. Another common one that I think is a very big deal is you don't have an emergency fund. If this financial situation is one that you find yourself in, this is something that you need to change quickly. You may not be living paycheck to paycheck, and you may have your spending under control, and you may have a little bit of extra money coming in, but you need to dedicate some time, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, to really creating a nice emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months of your income, and at least have 3 months of that readily available in cash, so that when an emergency does happen, like losing your job, which is primarily the main one, that's why 3 to 6 months is recommended, because if you lose your job, it may take that long to find another job. But honestly, most emergencies won't come up to that amount. It might be a flat tire that costs, well, all your tires are suddenly need change, so $300-$400. That could financially ruin some people, which is pretty crazy. But if you have an emergency fund, those sort of things aren't going to be a headache anymore. And another financial challenge that I saw that I think is a great one that applies to a lot of people is you feel overwhelmed by financial matters. Now, this doesn't really sound like a financial situation. You might make plenty of money, you aren't in debt, you're saving decently for retirement, but everything just stresses you out. Like, it's just like, what is going on here, and why can I not seem to get control over my personal finances? And this might be a time to talk with somebody, talk with a professional or financial coach, and see if they can help you get a grasp on what is going on with your personal finances, so that you can really start to make great progress toward your goals. Because you could just be overwhelmed with, how do I actually achieve my goals? And how do I actually make it so that I'm saving more money for retirement? And it might just be things that you don't understand, which is okay. There's a lot of things that I don't really understand, and then I'll ask people for help. Like, my wife is in the medical field. I don't know a lot about medical things, but I'll ask her for questions and for help. So the goal really is to just find those different things that you don't know about and get someone in your corner that can help you with that. And if you're overwhelmed by financial matters, then talking to somebody like a financial coach and having them help you get a grasp on your financial situation can really help you going forward, especially towards achieving your goals and changing your financial situation. So next, let's talk about, what do you do if there's a setback? What do you do if you don't quite meet your financial goal on time? Well, understand that they're just part of life. Like, it happens. Don't be too caught up in the moment. Just figure out how you finish the goal. Honestly, learn from them. Figure out what went wrong. Like, why didn't you meet your financial goal? Was it because you went out to eat a few more times than you thought probably should have? Just consider that and learn from it. The only way to grow is by going through hard things and struggling a little bit. If we were all perfect, life would be pretty boring. So really, like, how are you going to learn how to do better with your finances if it's not a struggle? Just think about it in that way. And life is a long journey. You have plenty of time to do whatever you want to do financially. You can change your financial situation so that you're leaving millions and millions of dollars behind for your family and for charities and things like that. You can do it in whatever amount of time you need to. And honestly, changing your mindset from short-term thinking to long-term thinking really helps. It really helps shift saving for retirement to be something that's easy. When you start to realize how much compound interest is going to change and grow your money that you're putting towards retirement, makes it a heck of a lot easier when you're thinking long term. When you're thinking, wow, this money that I'm putting in now is going to grow that much over the next 20 to 30 years, well, then it's definitely worth doing it, because that $5 drink that you're getting at the store could be a lot more money if you're putting it away for retirement. And really, that's what you do with setbacks, is you understand that they happen, realize what went wrong, and learn from them. You realize that the only way to grow and learn is to struggle a little bit, and that life would be pretty boring if we never went through hard things. So try to shift your vision and mindset, like I said, to something that's a little more long-term. And next, let's wrap up today's episode. Thank you for listening, but here comes my thoughts and conclusions around how to change your financial path. So let's wrap up today's episode with my thoughts and conclusions around the fact that you can change your financial path. Well, first thing is I love goal setting and thinking about ways that we can improve. I love being able to put all my financial data down on paper and say, hey, we have a real opportunity here to do some cool things with our money this time next year if we do this with our money now. And just creating those plans for me is very fun. And it may not be fun for you to sit down and make a plan and goal set, but it's definitely necessary, especially when it comes to actually changing your financial situation and improving where you are financially. And I think everybody definitely has the potential to become wealthy and leave a long-lasting financial legacy. There's not really, some situations may put you at a harder beginning point, but it's definitely possible for everybody to take the steps they need to now to change their financial situation so that in the end, they're very wealthy and leaving a long-lasting financial legacy, whether it's a legacy of actual money or a legacy of financial literacy in your family. All of that is possible. And I can help you break down and maintain your goals and make a plan with my Fleming Financial Coaching, which you can find on Instagram, which is the same place that I post these podcast episode notifications at Fleming Financial Coaching. Just search that on Facebook or Instagram and you'll find me. And I can help you. Like I said, it may take you to sit down with a financial coach to really nail down what is so overwhelming about your financial situation. But overall, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Money Talk. As we head into 2022, if you have a financial goal, I hope you can achieve it. And I hope this episode gave you some information and hope for achieving that goal. If you need any help, please let me know. And I love creating this podcast. And if you're listening, I would love to hear from you. Please email me at moneytalk.ffc@gmail.com. I would love to hear one of your recent financial wins for our Financial Win of the Week segment. Now, we don't have one this week, which means you need to email me. Email me something that's going right in your financial life or a struggle and we can talk about it. Email me at moneytalk.ffc@gmail.com. And thank you for listening to Money Talk. I'm your host, Skylar Fleming. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Money Talk. The Money Talk show is provided for informational purposes and should not be used for personal or specific financial advice. Every situation is unique and different. Please make sure to do your own research for your personal financial situation.